20 years since their debut, Big Bang remains one of K-pop's undisputed icons, with the group going through some major changes since their last album release in 2016. Originally, of course, they debuted as 5 members back in 2006. Who remembers 2006? Big Bang, for the record, currently consists of G-Dragon, Taeyang, and Daesung. Together, they released some era-defining K-pop hits like Lies, How to, Fantastic Baby, Bang Bang Bang. The fact that I can sing that through tells you a lot. It's been sort of the national anthems through the years of K-pop. And as these kings of K-pop approach their 20th anniversary this August, Big Bang performed at Coachella this past week. A week prior to that, the former member of Big Bang, T.O.P, released his first full-length solo album on April 3rd to mark his return to music. So breaking things down for us surrounding all things Big Bang, we're joined by our K-pop expert, Jeff Benjamin. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning. Hello.
From interviewing an astronaut, space to Big Bang, it lines up nicely.
It does. And actually, if you remember, T.O.P was supposed to be on some type of moon mission or some type of space mission.
You're right. Wasn't it Blue Origin? He was supposed to be one of the civilians on board. That wasn't realized, right?
It did not come through, but that's the through line for today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Perhaps they don't need an introduction, especially for our regular Arirang radio listeners who are probably familiar with the works of Big Bang. But I think it's worth revisiting the lead up to the 20th anniversary. Did we know a reunion was on its way, or were there hints, at least some breadcrumbs?
Yeah, I mean, I think there were some hints. Last year, G-Dragon made his long-awaited comeback with a new full-length album that he took on the road. He took on a world tour, and I think we spoke about this tour when it came to New York, actually. But I remember at the end of the show in particular, he said, Big Bang is 20 years next year, and we'll have to do something special. Just wait for it. So G-Dragon, of course, as the leader of Big Bang, I think he gets to, be the first one to share things. And he definitely let us know that something was in the works for 2026. And it all starts with this Coachella performance.
And the thing is, he had, I believe, a Netflix show, right? That came to a stop for an entirely different reason. But there were all these appearances, and at least in a few YouTube episodes, Daesung, Taeyang, and G-Dragon coming together, and I thought that was a pretty big signal. Like, they had something working up to this very moment. So let's take our listeners to Coachella this past weekend, where Big Bang performed. What was the performance like? What did they perform, and how was it received?
Yeah, so I love that you mentioned those kind of like little mini reunions, because we did technically have a song with the 3 of them together, although it was technically credited as G-Dragon, Taeyang, and Daesung all together on one track. Not Big Bang officially, but they released Home Sweet Home. I believe it was the end of 20 to this performance.
Hang on, Jeff. I think we're having faulty connections. If I lose you in the middle, we might want to reconnect. But right now, I have you back. So please continue.
Okay. It's okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yes. No. It was like all the hits, all the Big Bang hits. But we also got a chance for the guys to do their own solo stages. We got a unit stage with GD and Taeyang. It was really fun to kind of go through all the hits. There wasn't any new music, but they did kind of say, keep waiting for us. There's more to come this year.
Interesting. So it's all working up to that August 20th anniversary. But Coachella is not a bad place to say, hey, this is an important marker year for the group Big Bang. 3 or 4, it doesn't matter. We're still Big Bang. And I thought that was really exciting for the fans. And having such successful careers as separate artists. And I want to say Daesung is partially a comedian, but that's a whole different topic. Can we break down the different member stages? Of course, let's begin with GD.
Yeah, of course. Our leader GD, he sang one of his new songs, "Power," from his comeback album that was released last year. And he kind of got some. I don't know if you'd call it like mixed reviews for this, but he definitely didn't just put on the track and just sing along to the track. He really kind of made it his own, had his own fun with it, was able to kind of play around with the tempos and melodies and things like that. But to me, what I saw was just an artist having a lot of fun on stage, ad-libbing, being comfortable enough. I mean, it's not a small stage to be at Coachella. They were literally one of the final performers of the entire weekend, a huge crowd with them. And yeah, I don't know, he kind of just made it his own. It was super fun to watch.
And I mean, I think that's what GD does best. When we think he'll zig, he'll like zoink. He won't zag. He'll do something different. And we're really excited for that, whether it comes to fashion or what kind of performance he puts together and how he performs at one of the most important and biggest stages at Coachella. Let's turn to Taeyang. You mentioned the Good Boy performance with GD, and I think to this day, what is crazy is that after all these years, the track and the dance moves, and even their I think collaboration, I think it was one of the Mnet stages. I think it was Mama. It's still so stylish.
Yeah, I love that you said that because I even was like, wow, they really they completely nailed the move. They
Yeah.
completely, brought that back. And it was just so seamless and so fun, to see that. I love that track in particular, Good Boy, which is, over 10 years old now. And then Taeyang was able to bring back one of his solo songs, Ring a Linga, which I haven't heard in a long time. And then that was such like a welcome, fun one as well. So to me, I was like, oh, Taeyang really, I mean, he ripped off his shirt at one point. He's still just as muscular and as in shape as before. He hasn't lost a beat.
In case our listeners forgot, he got married and he had a child. A lot has changed in those 2 decades, but he's still, you're right, very much in shape and doesn't look a day older since he first released Ringalinga all those years ago. Could you imagine the kind of rehearsals that they go through to ensure that the stage is that way?
Right.
All right. I mean, this garnered a lot of social media attention just because Daesung is, I think, just funny through and through. I mean, just the fact that he's screaming at Coachella in the middle of California, "Can you hear me, Kyusun?" is, I mean, it grabs attention, doesn't it?
I thought it was amazing because I really didn't know what was because his solo career isn't as prolific, I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah.
fair to say as G Dragon and Taeyang, and especially maybe not as mainstream in terms of those, sounds, those banger hits. So yeah, I knew he does, trot music and things like that. But he just, I mean, it was so fun and it was just kind of somehow Indio Desert in California turned into a showcase for very fun trot music performance. I thought that was a very cool cultural moment. And even Daesung himself was like, "How do you guys know this? Like, this is crazy."
It is kind of crazy, right? Because you wouldn't expect it's so specific genre-wise, isn't it? Korean trot resonating with people who are there for probably, like you've alluded to, more mainstream sounds, EDM, hip hop. There's a lot of elements of that, but Korean trot, why not? I suppose. Sometimes I forget because how funny he is, how engaging he is, how good of a singer Taesung actually is, right?
Yeah, I always loved his voice. I think him and Taeyang are so good and so in sync with one another. I
Yeah.
sometimes it's tough to even sometimes distinguish their voices when I was a new fan, but now I just love their tones. I'm so glad they're back.
And we can't forget Top. Technically not part of Big Bang anymore, but definitely still part of the Big Bang legacy. He has also released his solo album, Top Spot Another Dimension. The music video features Nana of After School, a full-fledged actress at this point. What can you tell us about this album and the reaction to the project? Yes, he made an appearance in Squid Game 2, was it? But he was not necessarily, I think, well embraced, at least in Korean public culture.
Right. And I think what I love about this album and what I love about any artist that's kind of who's gone through, tough times, controversies, what have you, is that he really addresses it full on. The
Huh.
opening track, it literally is like you can hear like it's samples of different television headlines and different newscasts about different news about him through the years, whether it was that space mission we
Wow.
talked about or various controversies. And I spoke with him recently, actually, for a magazine cover that will soon be revealed, and he was very much about, it's just about embracing my story and letting fans, hear what's been on my mind for so long and kind of be able to move forward with it through music, which I think is a great message.
I think so too. How will local fans react to it as opposed to international fans? That's always a talking point in itself too. And I understand. I mean, I think each culture has a different timeline. To say that one is right or wrong is probably not conducive to the conversation. But I'm right there with you, Jeff. The ability to turn something painful probably on his personal narrative and what his career took a huge hit. So trying to come back with that using music, I think is almost poetic. Do you have any predictions, Jeff, for Big Bang's actual anniversary this summer? You said it was August, right?
It will be August when they're come back, or technically when they hit officially 20 years, right? G Dragon said, at Coachella, he asked fans to wait a little bit longer, but in his own words, he said something big things are coming. So I think personally, at least like a world tour. I say at least like that's a small thing. A world tour I think is on the way. I would think at least one new song together is probably on the way as well. But before that, we do have a new Taeyang solo album that is on the way as well. So we have a couple things to keep us fed and have fun with in the meantime. But yeah, I bet this summer's, I think that's when I think things are really going to kick into action. That's my prediction.
I know you said Coachella is like a big tastemaker for a lot of these big music festivals across the United States, but I think in Korea, another important marker is all the summer music festivals. And if Big Bang is ready for that, I mean, that might be an exciting time. Some are leading into autumn, but I mean, there are, these crazy concerts that you'll never see me at because they throw water at you, Jeff, and that's not my scene. But I get it.
Oh
It's fun,
no.
it's exciting. And these kind of, Big Bang and GD tracks, they do, or Taeyang tracks, they do so well at these summer festivals. When you told us that 2026 was going to be a pretty big banner year for K-pop, I didn't realize the scale.
And we're only like it's just quarter two, like we already had Blackpink and BTS and EXO, like what else is coming? So I've just been having a lot of fun this year so far. I'm like already tired, but it's been a lot of fun. And I think Big Bang kicking off the way that they did, that was like the right tone, the right notes, and we'll have to see what comes next.
Jeff, I can't wait for your article. Let us know when that comes out, right? I'm all about shameless plugins and support.
Thank you so much.
Have a great weekend.
I thank you. Thank you, Lena.
We spoke to Jeff Benjamin, Billboard K-pop columnist. Joining us next to the studio is Niall Song for Question Unboxing.
This is